Hey guys and girls, how's it going? Hope you guys are having a great weekend. So I'm back today with another Mass Effect Andromeda video, and this one I wanted to watch the initiative briefing and generally just sort of give my impressions on it, and obviously first time reaction. I haven't watched it yet, but I have heard it's really good and has a lot of really good information in there. So I'm going to watch it now, and then obviously we'll talk about it afterwards. So let's watch briefing.
Greetings and welcome, recruits. I am Avina, your virtual intelligence resource and guide for the duration of this briefing.
Cool.
Inspired by the Milky Way Citadel, the Nexus is a smaller, streamlined space station designed to serve as your central support hub and temporary home once in Andromeda. The Nexus will carry with it a contingent of officials, engineers, traders, and security personnel on its voyage to Andromeda.
That's huge.
All remaining humans will travel together, 20,000 strong, on Ark Hyperion.
Okay.
Even with faster-than-light travel, it would still take several human lifetimes to cover the 2.5 million light-years to your destination. Survival will be made possible by spending the majority of this voyage in cryostasis, protected beneath the Mass Effect shields generated by your pods. As you travel to the edges of the known galaxy, a small escort of combat pilots will defend us from any threats. However, once we cross into dark space, we will be alone with only our kinetic barriers to shield us during our centuries-long journey.
Wow.
Once in Andromeda, the Nexus and Arks will rendezvous in the Helios cluster, and operations will commence immediately. While the Nexus will be largely functional at launch, many elements of its construction are only scheduled for completion upon arrival at our destination.
That's interesting.
Docked to the Nexus, the Arks will provide additional power and storage to the station. You will be revived and assigned quarters in one of the residential blocks for a short time, as our immigration staff assists you in choosing a new homeworld. Until the Pathfinders have completed securing these habitats, the Nexus will offer many duties and distractions. The archives in the Cultural Center house the combined history of the many Milky Way species and will assist new races encountered in learning about our galaxy and its past.
Cool.
Lush hydroponics gardens are available for a quiet escape. Or you can also take the opportunity to socialize with a visit to the Vortex Lounge for any desired off-duty indulgences. The Operations Center will oversee security and management of the entire station, housing everything from colonization efforts to Pathfinder HQ, where Pathfinders will converge to share information and discuss their progress.
Ooh, that's cool.
The state-of-the-art science labs will also be on hand to investigate their discoveries as they begin to unlock the secrets of this new galaxy. Together, you will create a bustling center of trade, community, government, and diplomacy. The beating heart of your new beginning in Andromeda. I invite you to visit me there for further assistance.
Okay, that was really cool. There was a lot of information in that. So the really interesting thing is obviously the Arks are the smaller ships, and they're about 20,000 on each one, which we got from that. And I guess the Nexus is like the Citadel, and it's really interesting that you can actually build that actually sort of after getting to Andromeda. We did see in the gameplay trailer that you could actually upgrade the Nexus, and that is probably what that is about. So as you upgrade it, you build certain pieces of it maybe, and maybe you get access to certain parts of it as well. It's really interesting. Yeah, the Nexus looks exactly like the Citadel, and that's really interesting. So we're going to watch it through again, and I'm just going to jump into the information bits that we get to see what else we can learn.
Greetings and welcome, recruits. I am Avina,
There's
your
Ark
virtual
there.
intelligence resource and guide for the duration of this
Massive,
briefing.
isn't it?
Inspired by the Milky Way Citadel.
Right, Avina. So Avina was the virtual intelligence in Mass Effect 1 and also Mass Effect 2, and in 3 as well. I always call it, I think it was Avina. I'm pretty sure it was Avina. So it's a virtual intelligence program designed to answer questions, provide guidance and insight on current events. Avena appears as a hologram, always taking the form of an Asari, one of the races found in the Milky Way galaxy, and will be accessible at several terminals throughout the Nexus, with a limited capacity for discourse. Avena is more suited to offering information rather than opinions. Yeah, this is the upgraded version of Avena that was actually in the Mass Effect trilogy, so that's cool. They're kind of like keeping that in there, which I really like. So let's carry on.
The Nexus is a smaller, streamlined space station designed to serve as your central support hub and temporary home once in Andromeda. The Nexus will carry with it a contingent of officials, engineers, traders, and security personnel on its voyage to Andromeda. All remaining humans will travel together, 20,000 strong, on Ark Hyperion.
Right, so Ark Hyperion is a human vessel, so it's only going to have humans on there. So I'm wondering if the Tempest is formed from different races on the Nexus, and that would be really interesting. So let's actually have a look more information about the Ark Hyperion. So the Hyperion represents one of several arcs specifically designed for the Andromeda Initiative's mission. While its support staff is comprised of a variety of Milky Way races, interesting, Hyperion is primarily responsible for the transport of human colonists to Andromeda. At more than 1.5 kilometers long and weighing 70 million metric tons, Hyperion and its sister Arks rank among the largest starships in the galaxy. Hyperion is currently in the final stages of construction within the moon's orbit. So let's have a look at it. Oh, it's just huge, isn't it? And this is the stasis pods that we can see here. Massive, absolutely massive. That's awesome.
With faster than light travel, it would still take several human lifetimes to cover the 2.5 million light years to your destination. Survival will be made possible by spending the majority of this voyage in cryostasis, protected beneath the Mass Effect shields.
Let's have a look at those Mass Effect shields. So the Mass Effect represents the scientific principle and basis behind most technology in the known galaxy. Okay, this was introduced in the original games. Mass Effect fields are created through the use of Element Zero. So are we going to have to collect Element Zero to basically for our ship to actually function in terms of shields and defense? That's going to be really interesting. Maybe we have to collect Element Zero and Iridium and different minerals to upgrade it, kind of like what we had to do with Mass Effect 2. I hope to God we don't have the whole scanning planet dropping probes thing that we had in Mass Effect 2, because that gameplay for me was just so boring. I'm hoping we're not going to have that. And from the gameplay trailer, it does look like you'll actually use the actual the new Mako to mine different things, the Nomad to mine different things. I really hope we don't have planet scanning in this game. Right, so through Element Zero, which can increase or decrease the mass of space-time when subjected to an electrical current via dark energy. It's always dark energy. In space, Mass Effect fields have implications in everything from faster-than-light travel to the creation of shields used to protect starships to cryostasis pods, allowing a person to survive in a suspended state for extended voyages. It's kind of dangerous, isn't it? Like just relying on nothing but Element Zero for all of those things. That's crazy.
Generated by your pods. As you travel to the edges of the known galaxy, a small escort of combat pilots will defend us from any threats.
Okay.
However, once we cross into dark space, we will...
The Odyssey drive system. With the Arks unable to refuel by traditional means in dark space, the journey to Andromeda is only made possible by the Odyssey drive system. The Odyssey is a massive experimental drive core specifically designed for this transgalactic voyage. It is capable of recycling static energy that would typically cause a starship to explode. Wow, okay. Instead, storing it to power the Ark's primary systems. Meanwhile, an electromagnetic rammed scoop will gather hydrogen from the Ark's surroundings, converting it into fuel as needed. Interesting. That's really interesting.
We'll be alone with only our kinetic barriers to shield us during our centuries-long journey. Once in Andromeda, the Nexus and Arks will rendezvous in the Helios cluster, and operations will commence immediately. While the Nexus will be largely functional at launch, many elements of its construction are only scheduled for completion upon arrival at our destination. Dock docked to the Nexus, the Arks will provide additional power and storage to the station. You will be revived and assigned quarters in one of the residential blocks for a short time, as our immigration staff assist you in choosing
Fem Rider right there.
And
that's the Tempest.
Have completed securing these habitats, the Nexus will offer many duties and distractions.
Now this just looks exactly like the Citadel. It reminds me of Mass Effect 3, particularly that scene when you were like stood over the balcony. Yeah, it looks exactly like Mass Effect 3 in terms of the design, the Citadel design, which I like.
The archives in the Cultural Center house the combined history of the many Milky Way species and will assist new races encountered
really cool.
in learning about our galaxy.
Now this is really good for people that haven't actually played the original trilogy and don't know much about the races. I will of course be doing Mass Effect videos in the run up to Andromeda, so I will be sort of doing a video on each of the different races and explaining them, and obviously including footage with that as well. I will be doing that, but for those that haven't played the game, this is going to be very useful in terms of going through the different races, their relationships, their history, and I'm looking forward myself. Even though I know lots about Mass Effect, I'm still really looking forward to exploring this. It was one of they had this in, I think it was a Citadel DLC, where you went down into the archives and you got to sort of see like the Geth and the Quarians and different things, and it was really awesome. I loved it, I really did. So I like this idea, it's really cool.
Past. Lush hydroponics gardens are available for a quiet escape, or you can also take the opportunity to socialize with a visit to the Vortex Lounge.
Are we going to be dancing? That's what I want to know. Are we going to have the Rider shuffle like we had the Shepard shuffle? I wonder if Ryder's going to be a better dancer than Shepard was, or if they're just going to keep that sort of joke going with like they're always being really bad dancers. Maybe Daddy Rider will do sort of the dad dance and it'll just jump up and down on the spot or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, this is kind of cool. So this is like going to like the different sort of bars and restaurants like Flux and different things on the Citadel, and it should be really interesting.
For any desired off-duty indulgences.
Right, so let's have a look at the Nexus leadership. Oh, okay, so it's actually giving you information here on characters. So we've got Director of Colonial Affairs, Foster Addison. So I guess this is Foster Addison right here. And Foster Addison oversees all colonization logistics for the Andromeda Initiative, making sure all settlements are up and running and colonists have a place to live. So that's interesting. Human. Next one is Nakmor Kesh. Nakmor Kesh is a female Krogan and part of the core team of station engineers who built the Nexus. Her contributions during the mission include station upkeep, ensuring all facilities remain in working order. That's really interesting. So a Krogan engineer. I don't think I've seen many Krogan engineers in the Mass Effect trilogy. They're usually like mercenaries or soldiers, usually. A Quarian engineer, I could kind of see, but that's really interesting. So we can see if we have a look here. So she looks so different. She looks quite old as well. I don't know if that's just the style of it. But yeah, she does look really different. So it'll be really cool to sort of talk to a Krogan engineer and see what that's all about. That would be really cool. Sloane Kelly. So Sloane Kelly was a character that was mentioned in the gameplay trailer, and yeah, she is an Alliance trained soldier and responsible for all security initiatives aboard the Nexus upon arrival in Andromeda. So Sloane Kelly is head of security on the Nexus, but in that gameplay trailer she clearly was on this like hub world, and I do remember that Drac was saying something about the people on the world, that they'd been kicked off of the Nexus and they'd actually been sort of exiled from it. So I'm wondering if Sloane Kelly actually did something not entirely legal, or if she just decided to go off on her own in the Andromeda Galaxy. Who knows? She looks like a badass. I mean, look at her. She does look like she just wouldn't take any messing whatsoever. So let's carry on.
The Operations Center will oversee security and management of the entire station, housing everything from colonization efforts to Pathfinder HQ. where Pathfinders will converge to share information and discuss their progress.
Now that's interesting. So we do know that each of the Arks have their own Pathfinder, and that each of the Arks are a different race. So we're going to have a Turian Pathfinder, and a Sari Pathfinder, a Solarian Pathfinder, and obviously human Pathfinder. It would be really interesting if you do actually get together and sort of plan and feedback on what you've discovered, and that'll be really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's kind of like the Pathfinder for me feels a little bit like when Shepard became a Spectre. So the Pathfinders for me seem like Spectres, like they've got their own kind of license to do what they want in the world, and that's really interesting.
The state-of-the-art science labs will also be on hand to investigate their discoveries as they begin to unlock the secrets of this new galaxy.
So that's cool. Like, I'm pretty sure that's going to be an upgradable thing as well, especially like upgrading for like weapon upgrades and armor upgrades and chip-wide upgrades and things like that. It'll be really interesting. And it looks like the Solarians are in charge of it, so I wonder if we're going to have like a Morden type character. I don't think anyone's ever going to beat Morden, because Morden was like one of my favorite characters and I loved him, but yeah, that definitely looks like it's going to be an upgradable base of operations. Now this is incredible, just to show you the size of it.
Together, you will create a bustling center of trade, community, government, and diplomacy, the beating heart of your new beginning in Andromeda. I invite you to visit me there for further assistance.
It just looks so good. All right, that just looks so good. Yeah, I love it. I love the fact that we're getting more information on each one, and that was very interesting. So we learned a little bit more about the Nexus and the hub world, how it works. We learned a little bit about our journey and how we've actually sort of traveled there, which is really cool. And yeah, we did get to see definite snippets of how we can upgrade the Nexus and what we're going to kind of use it for. But that was really interesting. So that was the second briefing out of 6. So there are 4 more briefings still left, which I cannot wait for. And I'll probably be doing a similar thing for each of them, just sort of doing a reaction, talking about what we've learned from it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, of course, please hit the like button as always to show your support. Comment below to let me know what you thought of the gameplay. If you spotted anything in this briefing maybe that I missed, or if you have any ideas about it, please share below in the comment section below. Take care, guys and girls, and as always, happy gaming. Hey guys and girls, how's it going? Hope you guys are having a great weekend. So I'm back today with another Mass Effect Andromeda video, and this one I wanted to watch the initiative briefing and
Legends resource and guide for the duration of this briefing.
cool.
Inspired by the Milky Way Citadel, the Nexus is a smaller, streamlined space station designed to serve as your central support hub and temporary home once in Andromeda. The Nexus will carry with it a contingent of officials, engineers, traders, and security personnel on its voyage to Andromeda.
That's huge.
All remaining...
Generally just sort of give my impressions on it, and obviously first time reaction. I haven't watched it yet, but I have heard it's really good and has a lot of really good information in there. So I'm going to watch it now, and then obviously we'll talk about it afterwards. So let's watch briefing.
Greetings and welcome, recruits. I am Avina. Your virtual humans will travel together, 20,000 strong, on Ark Hyperion.
Okay.
Even with faster-than-light travel, it would still take several human lifetimes to cover the 2.5 million light-years to your destination. Survival will be made possible by spending the majority of this voyage in cryostasis, protected beneath the Mass Effect shields generated by your pods. As you travel to the edges of the known galaxy, a small escort of combat pilots will defend us from any threats. However, once we cross into dark space, we will be alone with only our kinetic barriers to shield us during our centuries-long journey.
Wow.
Once in Andromeda, the Nexus and Arks will rendezvous in the Helios cluster, and operations will commence immediately, while the next